I said the other day that ARCHAON the Ever-Chosen is as big as Boris Ursus on his bear, and this battle right here is how I know. It's a little bit unfortunate that Boris has become such a hated legendary lord in the tiny community that's still currently playing Warhammer 3 at the time of recording this on Land Battle Ladder. He is quite the terror, being anti-large AP and now having Frostbite. But he will be matching up against the Lord of the End Times here, Kislev versus the Warriors of Chaos. Let's start with ARCHAON's build. His 4 marked units, we'll go with those first. He's got 1 Chaos Warrior of Khorne with dual hand weapons, and then 3 Hellstriders of Slaanesh, the anti-large variant. Very nice choice against Kislev, should trade well against their cavalry. Also got some Poison Warhounds. Some Forsaken. Could have upgraded these to Forsaken of Tzeentch or Nurgle, but instead just the base version. Does make them cheaper, obviously. And some Marauders up front. 1 Chosen with Halberds and some more Forsaken over here. For myself, I've got 1 Heavy War Sled, front line of 4 Armored Kossars. Got a couple of Streltsy, 2 Kossars of Spears, and 2 regular Kossars in the back line. Boris with a Frost Maiden and a Patriarch for the triple bear character squad. So let's get things started here. The Heavy War Sled's going to charge in. Not really too scared of some dogs. The Poison Warhounds do count as infantry, and they're going to get absolutely mauled by the Dread Sleds, so no problem there, just charging in. But man, ARCHAON, that hulking figure in the distance galloping towards them definitely does scare me. So let's go ahead and pull them away now, and the Hellstriders also countercharging in. So interesting situation. We should be able to get away from everything except the Hellstriders. It does look like they interrupt their attack orders, so I'm going to send Boris and the other units out there. Excuse me. Fight the Lord of the End Times. A little bit of Flaming Sword of Ruin from ARCHAON to give a little damage spike there. I'm going to also drop the Bombardment. A little bit of a swing and a miss. Has a pretty long uptime. That, what is it called? I always forget. Hailstorm, that's it. It's really not spectacular, but it's there. And also Boris is here. The Patriarch a little behind the curve, but in the front line, we've got the guns opening up. Let's get in close. It's the Streltsy and the Kossars duke it out with the Forsaken. You can see the Chaos Marauders also advancing here. Here comes the Patriarch. And let's get in. Oh, here we go. Boris against Lord of the End Times. ARCHAON not really wanting to take this fair fight. Looks like he's actually focusing the caster, which is probably the right call. He can take out the caster in a pretty big hurry, even with Stand Your Ground active. But it is going to be a little bit of a pitched fight, so we'll get in close for the Duel of the Fates here. I'm going to pop a Swift Wing to try and help some of my units get away. Maybe get a little charge bonus as well. Boris pops his Shard Blade to get a nice AoE drain going there. And ARCHAON, again, turns to focus the caster, which does force her to the Buy Our Blood passive. Meanwhile, in the front line, Chosen getting lit up by Streltsy. They're trying to get into combat here. Definitely probably wanted to go support this cavalry engagement over on this side and just kind of peel them around. But in general, the Warriors are having a hard time getting into contact in the front line. The Khorne Warriors eventually did get in. A little bit overblobbed here, but a few of them somehow got through to the Streltsy. I have no idea how, especially given their position. But let's get back over here. You can see the Ice Maiden getting routed off, of course. Some changes to ARCHAON. The Crown of Domination now gives him terror, so he can cause terror himself. He also gets the Paragon of Ruin, a new ability for Warriors of Chaos that does give him unit psychology. I don't know that you would always want to take this, but it does give 5% charge bonus as well. For Slayer of Kings, Armor of Morkar now gives charge reflection and melee defense, and he gets Fight or Die with melee attack and leadership instead of the standard die that he had before. But anyway, nice Flaming Sword of Ruin. He comes in here again, absolutely smashes a chariot. I'm going to drop another bombardment from my rallied caster. Back in the front line, we're doing our best to see off the Hellstriders wherever they can come. One reason why I really like the Kossars, their kind of hybrid stats means they trade reasonably well against quite a few light cavalry options. But anyway, at this point, Boris and ARCHAON are going to ride together kind of side by side into this main engagement. Here come the sleds as well, the 2 that are still operational, getting a nice rear charge on those Forsaken. A little bit of a Swift Wing swing and a miss there. Doesn't actually hit any of the units that it needed to, but that's okay. This is a pretty smart move by ARCHAON. He's going to come fight right on top of his chosen halberds, basically. Unfortunately, well, he needs to push Boris over into the halberds, because right now he is being protected by a thin line of Kossars who are going to get cut through. It looks like one of the Chosen maybe getting some attacks into Boris now. Very dangerous situation for me. I also popped the Fury of Urson, so he goes into a rampage. I can't micro him out for a decent amount of time, but of course with the healing of the Patriarch, I'm not too worried. As long as ARCHAON doesn't completely destroy him. Slayer of Kings, though, up to 870 weapon strength. Unfortunately, you don't have Cascading Fire Cloak anymore, which I do find a little bit sad. It was one of my personal favorite spells to self-buff with ARCHAON, so with his new mixed spell loadout, he doesn't have access to it. He does have Spirit Leech, though, which is arguably better to just do direct damage. Did not bring that, my opponent, this particular time, but probably would have been pretty good to just Spirit Leech Boris down over time. Streltsy now fully surrounded here. The other benefit of the items on the Patriarch, of course, is the stats are being boosted up by the Balalaika of the Arari here just a little bit. ARCHAON also takes some significant damage, decides to pull away, go after some routing units. Chosen with Halberd still fighting there, and this big flank push. The Warriors of Khorne haven't really seen them too much up close, so let's get in as Boris and the Streltsy try and hold the line here. Khorne Warriors just collapsing this flank super hard and finally getting into combat against powerful units. They do also. Flaming Sword of Ruin. Keep in mind, though, that the Warriors with dual weapons only 33 melee defense, and again, the Streltsy up to 34 melee attack, so they can actually fight back a little bit. Not very efficient, but considering that the Khorne Warriors aren't really targeted on them anyway, I'm not really sure what they're targeted on right now, to be honest, but ARCHAON comes back around, decides, you know, Boris is just still really scary at this point, and the thing is, as he pulls away, the Streltsy can somewhat continue to fire. It's also a little bit hard to tell what's going on, because I chose a red color scheme, so when they fight the Khorne Warriors specifically, a little bit trickier to see, but there you go. Another bombardment, this time from ARCHAON. New Searing Doom, which again, I don't know if I like that one better. I think I like the old version better, to be honest, but hey, everyone's got their own opinions, right? The Khorne Warriors doing their best to fight here, but they have quite a bit to get through, and Boris and the Patriarch both quickly approaching their healing cap. ARCHAON's managed to survive until the endgame, gets a nice little terror out with those Kossars, using the Hounds to kind of screen Boris here, and then charging in with ARCHAON. Slayer of Kings active once more, 776, doing a ton of damage to Boris. If he makes contact, a huge hit right there. We'll keep the health bars up, keep it in view. Another huge hit right there. Boris still distracted by the Hounds, hasn't even turned to face ARCHAON. Finally gets an attack there. Armor Morcar puts him to 84 melee defense, so probably won't get too many hits until that runs out, but even still, 2v1. I do think that, oh, I don't know, Boris again turning away, perhaps? No, double hit there from both characters, and ARCHAON just straight up gets killed by Boris Ursus. Wow, what a finish there, immediately causing army losses. I guess the end times is canceled, guys. Everyone go home. Awesome game, very well played to my opponent. Beautiful kind of thematic action, nice back and forth, some strong units, but not like all the ridiculous OP stuff. Streltsy definitely very solid. I love the hybrid melee shooting in this particular matchup, especially. And Boris, of course, the elite anti-large AP, Frostbite, trading very well. But ARCHAON, though, outvaluing him heavily with 4,134 damage value and 17,000, almost 18,000 overall damage dealt. Definitely outpacing Boris significantly. Likewise, the Chosen with Halberds obviously going to trade very well with a lot of the elite large. They're a little bit risky here, as you saw, because of the shots of the Streltsy. In the past, me personally, I was a big fan of Chosen with shields in a lot of situations, even though they don't have the anti-large bonus against kind of high-ish to medium armor targets, stuff in like the, you know, like 80 to even like 70 to like 90 range-ish. They can trade okay against, and the missile block chance really does help quite a bit, but I don't know, still need to play around with it a little bit more myself and see. Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons didn't quite pay for themselves, but did some pretty good damage. Forsaken, likewise, a little bit of a mixed bag. One of them does very nicely. I kind of get the mobile assault here, and also the Hellstriders do pretty well. You would expect to see a tiny bit of inflated value here because of the healing of the Patriarch, and as a result, a lot of the Chaos units end up being pretty cost-effective, but yeah, it's just pretty solid overall, honestly. It ended up being very, very close there at the end, and with those single entity fights, RNG could have turned that either way, honestly, and had I lost Boris and or especially the Patriarch, I definitely would have just lost the battle straight up, so definitely well played to my opponent. Could have gone either way, but I happened to squeeze out the victory there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.